Hey, Patrick.
Hi. So there's this new feature on Zoom, AI Companion. I'm not sure if you can see that button also.
Isn't that what that guy Innocent Grades was using? You know, the autopilot?
Oh no, I know, I don't think so. This is apparently something kind of. I think the way it works, you literally get a avatar with a kind of virtualized camera or an image, a video, and kind of a virtual person on your meeting to discuss with you and ask questions. It says use AI Companion to ask questions, catch up on meetings, and more. So I think it's kind of, it's just adding one more attendee to the meeting, but it's not a human.
How can it catch up to a meeting if you're already there? I think it's meant to kind of take your place, you know, for meetings that you cannot attend.
Because on the small, I mean, I cannot enable it because it says ask admin to enable AI Companion, but the screenshot shows a person in a camera and a chat message by sent meeting queries. I don't know. I'm wondering. I imagine that this is kind of how AI will be further integrated to workforce. Like you'll get these agents, co-working with you in a company. It'll be essential like your coworker, but it won't be a human. It will be an AI agent having a context of what your team is doing, and you'll go on a meetings. I'll do stand-ups in the morning with the AI agent and other humans, and
Could be. I don't know.
none.
Hi.
What do you think? While we are waiting, I'm not sure George is coming or not.
George said he won't make it.
He's not. Okay, and then that case, I'll just get right into it without additional chit chat. So let me share my screen. Just 1 second. Make sure I have things ready and cleaned up here. No unnecessary windows hanging around. Okay, I think this is good. We can get started. Okay, so where are we? This is not the right window. This is Aries workgroup call. This is not our call. Aries VCX community. No, this is the call. And it's been exactly more than 1 year at this meeting since this call started. So pretty huge milestone here. All right. Well, welcome to 26th of October 2023 Aries VCX community call. Antitrust policy hyperledger is in effect, and we have agenda here. I guess no significant community updates I'm aware of. Was yesterday here along with Nine on the Aries Workgroup call, where Nine gave amazing presentation about the work she did. So kudos to you, Nine. I don't know, any comments on about the presentation yesterday, or status update, if you or perhaps a plan while we are at it. We still have some week or two, I think 2 weeks left till the end of mentorship, so we still have some time to do some work.
Yes, it was a bit nerve-wracking yesterday, but I hope it went well. You said it went good, so that's a good sign. Um, I do have some updates. So, for example, right now I am writing the test for forward message, and it will be up in the mediator. Like I'll be sending the PR in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so the forward messages that'll be done in about an hour. Uh, Last week was filled with refactoring the mediator, like separating all of the things out. You've seen that work already. So I've separated out everything from the client, the TOI, everything is now outside, and you can build stuff in a modular fashion. So that's there in the mediator. You did mention some edits to the README, which I had forgotten. So, like, a PR for that is also on the way. Um, yes, so that's my status for right now. I didn't come prepared for this meeting. I was working on the forward messages. So.
No, of course, that's fine. I mean, yesterday you had enough to prepare for the yesterday, and again, kudos to you. Very, very, very nice presentation. Well articulated. That was great. Okay, then the UNF5 wrapper, I think there's some ongoing also efforts. We would like to have Swapnil working on the UNF5 project, also give kind of a quick overview of the work done throughout the mentorship next week on the next Aries Work Group call. So I'll be excited, looking forward for that. I think they are busy now adding support for the credential protocol, the holder, and also I think well, for that they actually need to replace the mock ledger with the actual ledger implementation, and I guess that might be a little bit of challenging. I know there are some build issues with zero MQ dependencies and stuff like that. So we'll see. As for the overview of the work done, we had 0.61 zero release, a very small one, just basically adding the V2 messages type for issuance and presentation protocols. Some minor refactoring and README updates, and oh yeah, I already just mentioned this. That's included in the release. Well, today is going fast. Then in review, we have currently the split code, test code split. Bogdan, I reviewed this yesterday. Approved it. So it looks great. It's really nice.
Yes, this year I had to run again because of the 61 something release, so I had to rebase, which is why I recorded review again.
Right. Sign of my approval right now. Yeah, this is really great. How come you actually deleted so much code? I couldn't see much stuff missing. It must be the libvcx.
There were obsolete things around, some did mocks stuff. I don't know. Basically, I don't know, things. More things appear redundant and not needed.
Oh yeah, I actually now I remember I found there was some dead code, and I guess the tests in libvcx which we don't really support as a first class citizen, so those are gone. But yeah, this is great. And you also mentioned here about UNIFI, about the ledger stuff, right? Ledger read.
Yes, and it's the same thing for the mediator. So,
yes.
yeah, basically they were using that mock ledger thing, which is a weird thing to begin with. But anyway, like that's, I don't know how to put it. I guess anyone, like everyone that did that knew that that thing is bound to change. But the problem with using it like that is that with the mock stuff being meant for testing and not even like protocol
Yeah, of course.
it leads to this kind of path. So I could have maybe made some sort of replica of the mock ledger that would be available on like outside of the test profile, but I didn't really want to do that. It's still something that will change, I assume. So a proper ledger implementation will be done for the mediator and the UniFFI stuff at some point. For the time being, the testdetails crate is a full dependency, not just a dev dependency, to kind of make the mock ledger available. But yeah, so that can be changed in the future when proper implementers of the ledger traits are added to these
Yeah,
crates.
so well, mediator shouldn't be touching ledger, shouldn't know that ledger exists essentially. But I'm wondering, looking at this delta, I'm wondering, like, you deleted the import of the mock ledger dependency. Wasn't it being used in the code? I would expect here some more changes, I guess.
But
Like,
no, it's added again on the right side of line 24. It's just that the names are wrong there.
oh, right.
It is being used from what I've seen. I
Mm.
didn't look too much into it. I was actually curious of where it's being used. And one place that I found was some invitation, like converting an invitation to a did doc.
Yeah.
But I think that's actually for like pairwise invitations. So I believe you can actually factor that out. If you just process the invitation with lower level functions, you might not even need the ledger at all,
That's
which
right.
makes sense because I had the exact concern as you did. But that wasn't, I guess, inside the scope of this PR.
Yeah. That's right. All right.
So by all means, if this can be resolved and the ledger stuff not being needed at all, is perfectly fine. Then that can be done, and the test details can be set as a dev dependency. I think that was the only absolutely single thing that was preventing that. So, and it's the same thing for UniFFI, but in UniFFI something is being used.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't know how.
In UniFFI they actually have to use the actual ledger because they'll
Right.
actually.
I don't know if they do right now. Some other things that I've been clearing out regarding code deletion were some of these static kind of responses in these mock stuff, where like these mock things were being implemented in a really weird fashion with some globals set for some things. I didn't go into the weeds of it, but if something of a mock stuff is actually needed, I didn't want to delete it either because it's present some places just to make things run. But if something like that is actually needed, I'd honestly suggest to just use some sort of in-memory buffer in the structure itself rather than some globals. It's just preventing stuff. It could be, I don't know, some sort of shared, maybe an arced, UDEX arced structure.
Yep.
And that would make it easier to follow, not rely on constants and or static stuff that's you basically have to track through and then have to look at whether that's enabled or not. These things were kind of
No, 100% agree.
Anyway.
It's kind of a leftover approach from the old times, and
right. So
you deleted a lot of it. Even in the last PR, we deleted the settings RS. Oh gosh, finally! That was such a huge thing for a long time, and these globals, it just pain. And after all the tests, we had to like reset the global settings, and it was such a mess.
Right.
It's great.
Right. So in some regards, like from that point of view, maybe these things are not as I don't know, complete or feature complete as they used to be, but honestly they were bad to begin with. So even if it's some sort of a setback or step back in that direction, I think this would actually allow building this properly in the future if it's needed, because they're not even needed that much anymore. With proper ledger implementations and in-memory stuff, limiting the connectivity between things and communication required, and the network transfer times. So tests are actually running much faster than they used to do.
Really?
We all noticed. I mean, not because of this. I'm saying, as due to all of our effort in the past couple of months.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Tests have been running much faster now than they used to. So yeah, I didn't necessarily see this as a setback with deleting some stuff. they're gone and they're not even used, but in the future, if something like this is needed, I'm sure it can be done in a better fashion.
Agreed. Okay, thanks for this. Let's go back to how can I find this? There we go. So that was that code test split. Then we have Medish message types. No, this is leftover from the last week. I guess this shouldn't be here. Deleting. And then the issuance protocol from George that's still out there. Didn't have time recently to spend much time on this. So I would like to get back and kind of work through it more intensively going forward. I started, so yeah, I think I already mentioned last week, dipping my toes into DitPeer 4. I did just like small PRs, which came out of some efforts. I started writing some simple, basically demo test on top of DitPeer crate to get myself familiar better with the current API of the crate and how it feels to actually work with it, given the state as it is, prior to me actually adding anything. And I have some ideas how things could be improved there. So I think I would like to actually do those things before I add the DitPeer actually. I think we can discuss these particular changes outside of the call. I don't have a prepared thoughts put in a single place, and also Miro is not here, who originally contributed to DitPeer, so I would like him to be part of the discussion. So I'm not gonna go into that. And yeah, that's pretty much bring us to the end. But I have few points here, so I guess Bogdan, given that you finished this code split, I don't know if you have like some things you find. I'm certain you have number of things in a list you would like to do, but I'm just adding one more here. I guess you might pick it up or you might pick something else. But I would like to split out it's something we already discussed a long time ago, but I'd like to split out the Aries V6 core into like separate components, separate crates, more crates. We gotta have more crates. In particular, for example,
I'm gonna stop you maybe before, but the whole point of the last 4 or 5 PRs or something like that was to kind of get to refactoring or redesigning the ledger, OnCreds, and wallet interfaces, which I guess is kind of related to this. We could, while at it, we could split them, which would make sense. But just kind of wanted to put it out there that this was the purpose of this all along. So,
yeah. I mean, there's improvements, but I'm not sure if part of that planned effort was, but we did discuss it months ago. Just regardless of the actual improvements in the code, but splitting out those things. So if I have a third-party project, I want to, I'm only interested in Ledger. I can actually depend on the dependency without bringing the wallet and OnCreds and all the things. Because for example, I was building recently this kind of in the health tool to check the responsivity of individual nodes in the ledger, and I didn't want to use IndiviDR directly because in the Aries V6 core around the ledger stuff, there's additional like layer of code which makes things easier to interact, and I just wanted to use the ledger part, but obviously I couldn't do that without bringing a whole package, the whole OnCreds and all the stuff. It's not a huge problem, but it would be nicer if I can take the dependency, just take what I need. But yeah.
So do you do you want that done before the
No, not necessarily.
design? Or?
not necessarily. I don't know if you given you're gonna spend time on this. I don't know if you happen to have that opportunity and find it doable to do. I think it'll be a good thing to do. But I just want to remind us that we want to do this kind of split.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right. So I guess Bogdan, you're gonna continue with this the Aries V6 core interfaces improvements. I take it.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Sounds good. All right. Just checking who's on the call. Yeah, no new attendees. Okay, then do you guys have anything else to put in to discuss? Then I think we're good. So thank you today again, and we'll be online again next week, 9 a.m. UTC. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.